Moving on to the next topic, Charles Barkley has come out and said that Bronny is not a finished product. Now, I think that's pretty apparent, right? That's not really much of a hot take. It's kind of like when I was talking about the NFL a little bit ago about how the Commanders' defensive player, he said that Deshaun Watson's issues are about the head. Like, yeah, we know his mentality, his confidence is the issue. It's the same case here. Yeah, we know that Bronny isn't a finished product. He came in because he wanted to play with his dad. LeBron wanted him here. He wanted to go to LA. And now that that's happened, Bronny was a very raw prospect at USC, and you can't really grade him too much on his season there, in my opinion, just because of, he had the heart issue. So with Bronny, I don't think it's fair to judge his lone college season and say, hey, this is a guy that is never going to be an NBA caliber player. I think it's more so the opinion that he's going to need time to develop. I think that one is more fair to him because I think Bronny should have spent another year in college so that we could have seen what he was like when he was healthy. So with Bronny, I think, yeah, he has potential to be an NBA prospect because there are some circles that aren't of that opinion at all. They think he needs to be nowhere near the league, right? I think he has potential as a player. I think he's a good defender already, but that's about it. And we see it all the time, kind of rookies come in, and the idea is that to make an instant impact as a rookie, sometimes the best thing you can do is to be a good defender because on the offensive end, you can't always just have an immediate role. That's why Alex Sarr went to Washington, because he wanted to have an immediate role. If he went to Atlanta with the first pick, he wouldn't have. So Alex Sarr wants to kind of be a lead option right away over in Washington, and credit to him for that. But most of the time for guys, especially with someone like Bronny, you're not going to give that chance, the opportunity right away to be a major impactful offensive player. So I think the fact that he's just really a defender right now can be a positive for him because as a rookie, the best thing that he can bring is his defense, and he's a very, very solid defender. And that's going to take time to develop. There's going to be some growing pains for sure because just in the NBA, that's a whole new level of defense. You're guarding guys like Kyrie Irving, right, especially at the point guard position. So with Bronny, yeah, it's going to take time to develop, but he has the defensive potential already. And then over time, we're going to hopefully see his offensive game be able to develop more and more over the coming years. And I think ultimately he can be a very, very solid NBA prospect, NBA product. Do I think he's going to be an all-star, all-NBA caliber player? No, but I think he can be a very, very solid role player in the league one day. And right now, he's got a good foundational piece with his defense, but he needs to absolutely work on his offensive game. And so really, coming into the NBA, while I think he should have spent another year in college so we could really kind of determine who he is as a prospect, and maybe he could have gone earlier, right, in the draft. But at the same time, coming into the NBA early, he's going to be playing with NBA-level players and NBA-level coaches, obviously, so he can kind of develop his offensive game, learn some tips and tricks from guys like, even on the roster, D'Lo, Austin Reeves at the guard position. They're very good offensive players in their own right. D'Lo, he catches a lot of flack, but that's for his defense. He is one of the better offensive talents in this league, so he has a lot to show Bronny. And so, yeah, well, I think he could have spent another year in college, and even if he didn't go that much higher in the draft, if we saw he was a bit more finished of a product, say this Lakers stint doesn't work out, another team would be more willing to take in Bronny, even if he didn't do much on the Lakers, because Bronny had a good second year in college, but we didn't get that. So we can't go back now, right? And now that he is in the NBA, we've got to look at him as an NBA product. And as an NBA product, he can be a solid defender right away, even if there's going to be growing pains, undoubtedly. And he can learn from really good offensive guards on that team, as well as one of the greatest NBA players of all time and his dad. And, Anthony Davis is also an all-time player. So he's got a lot of people with a mind for the game. I think Rui's a really underrated player in the league as well, right? But I think the main focus ought to be the guards that can teach him around. But in general, I think he's got some good, JJ Redick, even as a former player, he's got good minds for the game around him. So I think LA really isn't the worst situation for Bronny. Obviously, that's the situation he's going to go because he wants to play. LeBron wants to play with him, right? But for Bronny, I think while he should have stayed in college another year, and Charles Barkley is right that he isn't necessarily a finished NBA product. He doesn't need to be. He has enough upside as a defender right now, and give him a couple of years. Hopefully, his offensive game will develop, and it all really relies on that. Because some guys, all they are is a defender, and they can't do anything on the offensive end, and they find themselves out of the league sooner rather than later. But if Bronny can just develop the offensive game and continue to be a solid defender, then I think he does have a good long-term NBA outlook as a serviceable role player. But yeah, obviously not a finished NBA product right now. However, I think over time he will turn out to be a good NBA player. Because you don't need to be a star to be a good NBA player. So I think just the expectations, right? Because that's LeBron James' son. However, he doesn't need to be a star like his dad was to be a very, very good player in this league. And I think over time, Bronny is going to prove himself. But he's got a lot to prove right now. So Charles Barkley is right on that.